is a city in Western England, United Kingdom. Liverpool isn't far from the border with Wales on the north side of Bay formed by River Mersey. The city of Liverpool had a population of 441,477 people. The residents of Liverpool are citizens called Liverpoolians or sources, and the dialects spoken in Liverpool are called source. Liverpool is one of Britain's biggest exports. There are two major football clubs in Liverpool, and them are Liverpool FC and Everton FC. The area of Liverpool is 111.84 square. Way back in the 12th century, Liverpool was a small fishing village. Some say all that chance with King John's Charter of 1207, but the truth is that 4 centuries later, the population was still somewhere around 500, living a quiet, peaceful existence. The Metropolitan Cathedral of Christ the King is a Roman Catholic cathedral in Liverpool. The cathedral is the seat of the Archbishop of Liverpool and the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Liverpool. People often ask, why Metropolitan? One obvious answer is that Liverpool is fortunate enough to possess two mighty symbols of the Christian faith in the two cathedrals which face each other at opposite ends of the amply named Host Street. Both are dedicated to Christ, the Anglican to Christ and the Blessed Virgin, and the Catholics to Christ the King. So it helps avoid confusion to refer to one as Liverpool Cathedral and the other to Metropolitan Cathedral. Liverpool Cathedral is the Church of England Cathedral of the Diocese of Liverpool, built on St. James Mountain in Liverpool, and it is the seat of the Bishop of Liverpool. Its official name is the Cathedral Church of Christ in Liverpool, but it is dedicated to Christ and the Blessed Virgin. The Anglican Cathedral is one of the two in the city. The other, the Roman Catholic Metropolitan Cathedral of Liverpool, is situated approximately half-mile to the north. The cathedrals are linked by Hope Street, which takes the name from William Hope, a local merchant. His house stood on the site now occupied by the Philharmonic Hall and was named long before either cathedral was built. Liverpool 1 comes into the retail part of the city and the new Liverpool 1 Centre. There are so many shops along with the restaurants, bars, cafes and cinema at Liverpool 1 that you will be surprised how it all crammed into one area. And around the corner you will find the Met Quarter and the Cavern Walks shopping arcades. The majority of the development was opened in phases on the 29th of May 2008 and 1st of October 2008 during Liverpool's year as European Capital of Culture, whilst the final residential unit opened in early 2009.
One of the greatest tourist attractions in Liverpool is the Beatles History Museum. This is an amazing way to spend a few hours. The Beatles History Museum takes you through the history of the Beatles. You get to see how the 4 young guys from Liverpool were propelled into the dizzy heights of fame and fortune from their humble childhood beginnings. You get to experience the places that helped make the Beatles the biggest band in the world. The Beatles were an English rock band formed in Liverpool in 1960. The members of the group were John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr and George Harrison. They became the most successful act in the rock music era. The Beatles are among other things well known for their hits Here Comes the Sun, Hey Jude, Let It Be, Yesterday and Twist and Shout.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away.
If you're interested in the Beatles, you can take the Magical Mystery Tour, which is a 2-hour tour that takes you to many of the places associated with John, Paul, George and Ringo as they grew up and met and formed the band that took the pop world by storm. It lets you take a closer look at some of their childhood homes and the places that inspired their most memorable songs like Penny Lane and Strawberry Field. It's no coincidence that the Beatles came together in Liverpool, because this is a city full of culture, from arts to festivals to music. The city has several museums, like Merseyside Maritime Museum, Prescott Clock Museum and World Museum Liverpool. If you're interested in art, you can also visit the Walker Art Gallery. The Walker Art Gallery is housing a beautiful collection of art. The galleries hold paintings from the 13th century and up until today. You can see work from Turner, Rossetti and from Hackney, to name a few. They also have a craft and design gallery, a sculpture gallery, and a gallery called Big Art for Little Artists, which is specially designed for children up to 8 years. You can also visit the Blue Coat Center, which has an own bookshop, an own gallery, an own concert hall, a casual cafe, and even art classes for adults and an art club for kids. If you are among the younger generation, you should visit the Concert Square. There you will find a lot of bars and nightclubs. This is a lively spot both day and night. You should also visit Matthew Street, best known as the location of the Cavern Club, where the Beatles first started out and where they used to play in the beginning of their career. Matthew Street also has plenty of other references in honor of the Beatles, from a John Lennon statue to the Cavern Pub. Other things you can do in Liverpool if you're interested in music is to visit the Royal Court Theatre. The Royal Court Theatre was built in 1938, and since then it has been a landmark building in Liverpool. The theatre offers a range of long-running plays. The theatre also have a downstairs bar, which have comedy every Tuesday, Friday and Saturday. More than 150,000 people visit the theatre every year. The theatre can offer the best in comedy, drama and musicals. Right now the musical Down Our Street is running, also the musical The Fall Monty, and the drama which is running right now is Rapunzel. As I said, the 4 guys from the Beatles are Liverpool's big pride, but there are other famous people from Liverpool as well, for example Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney is one of the most famous football players in the world today. He grew up in Crotex in Liverpool, but now he plays for Manchester United. Another famous person is the actress Kim Cattrall, well known for her role as Samantha Jones in the HBO comedy series Sex and the City. And then we have William Gladstone. He was born in Liverpool in 1809. Gladstone was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom on multiple occasions through the 1880s. His career lasted over 60 years, and he served as Prime Minister 4 separate times, more than any other person. He was also Britain's oldest Prime Minister. He was 84 years old when he resigned for the last time. As you understand, Liverpool is a city with a lot to offer.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high.
Liverpool Football Club is the most successful football club in England. After dominating completely in the 1970s and 80s, they only won 2 cups in the 90s. In 2001 was Premium Cabinet at Anfield filled up again, as Liverpool won the League Cup, FA Cup and UEFA Cup. For the first time, an English football team won 3 cups in the same season. 17th manager have led the club through these 109 years. The most important was undoubtedly Bill Shankly, the small irascible Scot, who joined the club in 1959 and transformed the club from a mediocre second division to one of Europe's top clubs. If Shankly was the biggest, his descendant Bob Paisley undoubtedly regarded as the most successful manager in English football history. Paisley joined the club as a player as early 1939 and was later awarded by physiotherapist, reserve team coach and first team coach before taking over as manager in 1974. He later became president of the club. With over 50 years in the club was Bob Paisley, Liverpool's most faithful servant ever. Joe Fagan was the man who in 1983 took over the helm for Paisley. The day before the disaster at Hazel Stadium, 29th of May 1985, where 39 people died after grandstand trouble, he announced that he resigned as manager. The man who received the inhuman task to lead Liverpool after this shameful day for English football was Kenny Dalglish. perhaps Liverpool's best player of all time. Dalglish had 8 years earlier been forecasted to replace Kevin Keegan. This task he managed so well that just a few months after his arrival at Liverpool, no one asked for Keegan anymore. Dalglish's first season as manager, Liverpool won the double, both the league championship and FA Cup. In 1989, Liverpool was involved in a new tragedy when 96 people were crushed to death at Hillsborough Stadium in Sheffield, where Liverpool met Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup semi-finals. The time supporters completely without fault, but both the club, the supporters and Liverpool City was forever marked by the unbelievable tragedy. Just a few weeks later beat Liverpool, the city rivals Everton, 3-2 in the most emotional cup final ever. 1990 was the league trophy back to Anfield for the 18th time, but the next season Liverpool experienced a great shock. Kenny Dalglish resigned as manager with immediate effect. Many poor results followed and Liverpool was left without championship when the season was over. Liverpool won the League Cup for the 17th time in 2003, something for a record. Despite the Red again qualified for the Champions League through a 4th place in 2004-2005, ended 30 points champions from Arsenal. It said the board of the club was not acceptable and gave Hillary sacked as the first manager of Liverpool for almost 50 years. Today is Brendan Roberts, Liverpool's manager, and the captain is Steven Gerrard.